Hello, my name's Peter Bell, and this is a short audio note to go along with a set of documents I prepared recently on this public company, Serengeti Resources, Inc. Did this on my own prerogative, shared it with a new friend on the street named Justin Lim. Hello, Justin. Got a data room here, of course, for you. Right? Also have another idea came up with that we'll do separately another time for you. But, you know, to start with, see if I can do this in 5 minutes or less. Pretty hard to imagine, but here it goes. Start by reading it from backwards to the front. So this is my final word on the situation. I'm still out of date on Serengeti news flow, but there's so much opportunity here. The high-grade, shallow stuff has been neglected completely for a bigger, deeper mine. There's a beautiful, smaller deposit hiding in here, and finding it would generate sweet news flow for cheap cost per news. So that's the last thing I wrote, and that's kind of my summary position. And everything else in here is just my brainstorming that led to that. And so this is just me going through a bunch of financials. And then this view was my launching point, you know, because they're talking about project optimization. And so if you're going to talk about that, then we got to talk about Whittle Consulting. These guys are historically significant for the mining business globally, and the fact that I can talk about doubling NPV as a real thing with these guys means that I don't need to know mine engineering to be able to unlock market value from a strategic perspective. And beyond that, there's strategic negotiations aspects and technical aspects, and those things are related. You know, I'm not a geologist, just a mathematics, economics guy. You know, this is a great example. If you understand this diagram, it's stunning what Serengeti's achieved at Quinnica. They've significantly improved the resource. In this diagram from 2013, they didn't have a bunch of high grade right there, and now they do. There's other instances of similar things, like when they drilled down the throat of the thing in the pit and hit a bunch of grade they'd never hit before. So they expanded the high grade in the pit. Yeah, they did. 2018, I think it was. Did they do more of that in 2019? No, I don't think they did. They did some deep holes. They might have done some stuff in the pit. But I don't think they drilled what I would have liked them to drill. I don't have enough information on what the high-grade rock looks like. There's a chalcocite zone, supergene copper. Where is this exactly? So this is it. The thrust of my entire case and investigation is this midpoint in my slide deck, slide 64, slide 65. Work it. I'm not joking. And I don't like, this is true too, 66. I don't like to see multiple PEA. Like this group, Moose Mountain, I encountered them at Spanish Mountain as well, and I thought they were in the way. It's nice, 2 PEAs, measure twice, cut once, sure. But for God's sakes, try to listen to what Gerald Whittle is talking about when he doubles the NPV of a project, right? Serengeti, good work. Moose Mountain, good work. You guys have done exceptional. Please now revisit some of these high-grade near-surface opportunities and work with Sorry. Work with these guys. Work with these guys. Try it. This $250,000 maybe? Is that a budget that goes some distance with these guys on a consulting basis? How many holes does that drill? If you're drilling deep holes, are there five holes? 10 holes if they're shallow holes maybe? Can you, or is it $100,000 for a hole up at Quinnica right now? Or is it more than 250? Does it cost more to drill one of the deep holes that Serengeti did at Quinnica this year? Would it cost more to drill one hole than to work with Whittle Consulting? Imagine that. Imagine you're funding the company and they tell you those are the strategic choices for 2021. We've only got so much budget, the market's really weak, can't raise any money. Never mind the fact that that's not true. Just imagine they told you that, or they told you 2019, And when I talked to Gerald Whittle from Whittle Consulting the first time about these guys and introduced him to David Moore from Serengeti at PDAC, 2018, I think, Gerald said, let them do the PFS, let them do it wrong, and then let us come in and see if we can help. Or, something to that effect, right? Let them do the red line mining approach, and we'll come in and we can do blue line as a desktop study for cheap. And if they're serious, we can figure green line stuff. This was 2018 when Gerald was using that kind of language. What he's talking about now has evolved and is different in some ways, but the basics are largely true. And so, it goes on, but just to say this, the approach that an exploration geologist will bring to exploring a project like Quinnica may be different and incompatible with what a major needs to put something into production. And my contention is that that's exactly the case, based on the fact that you have this information. This is a little bit obscure. I don't know what the grades are with these, but this is everything. It also doesn't say the depth of these, which is a big problem for me, right? You read my notes and you see where is this? Where is this? You're telling me you have 5 million tons of chalcocite supergene and native copper supergene. 5 million tons. When's the last time you drilled a hole in that? Quartz breccias replacing pyrite, chalcopyrite, bornite, chalcocite occurring in fractures. Where is that? If you study it further, you'll read that it's here. There's fairly dense drilling on it, and what's more, it's at the top, by virtue of the way oxidation happens for sulfur and these sulfur minerals that have copper in them. The supergene zone generally occurs at, the top of the ore body and around the margins of it at the top and the fragmented top. It's not a flat contact necessarily, but this project, because it's a porphyry occurring next to a fault, there's all kinds of variation up and down along strike along the fault of what the top of that supergene looks like, what the bottom of that supergene looks like. It varies in thickness from 1 meter to 45 meters thick, 2 meters to 50 meters thick. Imagine you have the native copper zone stacked on top of the chalcocite zone. That's 100 meters of ultra high grade copper mineralization. How many pounds of copper could there be in that? Is that in a pit plan? Well, it's off to the side of one of the pits. We have it for a second phase of operations. No, that would be the wrong answer. The right answer is high-grade starter pit and needs more drilling. Okay, so I'll stop there for now and I'll cut this and put it up to share. Thank you very much for having a listen. And as I say, come visit, click through. This is what the data room looks like. Got a few files here now. I'll try and add to this over time. And I'll start by adding this video. And I'll also put it on YouTube and that'll be able to generate a transcript of it. I'm not going to add any production value to it, just raw, rough recording for a technical audience here. Thanks, goodbye.